Just as athletes have to exercise to develop their abilities, artists need to set themselves tasks to exercise their drawing skills. And when you're doing this, it really doesn't matter what you draw, as long as it's a bit of a challenge. In this introduction to art video, David Gross from the Tyne Housing Engagement and Progression team explains how you can develop as an artist by using angles, shapes and perspectives.
Groups of objects are always more of a challenge than just one single object at a time. So if you set yourself up a kind of still life, which could have all sorts of things in it, like a chair, an egg box, a bunch of flowers, a bottle, or something like that, whatever it is, as long as it's got lots of difficult bits to get right, you might not draw the whole thing, you might just draw a small area of it. What would be really difficult would be a still life that has lots of kind of circular shapes or ellipses. When a bottle's turned at an angle, drawing the end of the bottle is always one of the hardest things to do, so it might be good practice to try and get that kind of thing right. You need to kind of find a viewing position which is not so close that the perspective is so dramatic that it makes it really difficult to see where you're drawing, and every little movement of your head will make the relationship between all the elements in the composition completely different to each other. When you're holding something right in front of your face, if you move your head slightly, you're seeing around the side of it. So you need to be sat back a little bit, but not so far away that you can't see any detail. But before you start drawing properly, you have to kind of imagine which bit of what you're looking at you want to put on your page. So you want to find what's going to go bottommost, what's uppermost, what might be furthest to the left and furthest to the right, and also what you're kind of focusing on in the middle. And if you start making marks there very lightly, just to help you kind of get them right, while you're doing that, you start to imagine shapes, geometric shapes in front of the composition. An equilateral triangle, triangle with all three sides of the same size. It's an easy shape to imagine. You might see that one corner will indicate the edge of a bottle, the other corner might indicate where the edge of something else is, and something else will be at the top. And that helps you to get kind of proportions right on the page. You can also count how much bigger one thing is to another, to get the kind of proportion right that way. But remember that viewing angle might make that different than it would be if you stood the things next to each other. It is also really helpful to look at the spaces in between things. So when you're drawing, if you're drawing to kind of improve your drawing skills, it's really helpful to try and draw those shapes as well. So don't just think, I'm drawing a wine bottle lying next to a toothbrush or something. You look at the space in between the brush and the glass, and that can help you to get the kind of proportions of the drawing right. Once you're confident that everything is in the right position, then you can start using heavier marks, try and get some kind of three-dimensionality to it, so you go over your lighter marks again. But don't worry if it looks like you've made a mistake once you start putting the rest of the drawing in. Sometimes the most interesting drawings are the ones that have been changed, and it just shows that you're developing your observation skills. If there's a grid pattern in the composition or behind it even, if there's a tiled floor or a window that has lots of panes in it, or maybe a glass cabinet, or even a strongly patterned wallpaper, that can help you with proportions as well, because you can see, how far up the grid one object comes in relation to another. But before you start the drawing as well, sometimes it's helpful to walk around it so that you can see exactly what it is you're trying to draw. Even though when you're sitting to draw it properly, you need to stay in one position, because it might help to explain what it is you're trying to draw.
For more basic guides and introductions to arts and crafts videos, please feel free to subscribe and like the Tyne Housing Association YouTube channel.